We back. The crew is all here for another dope episode of Paper Route. You know, I'm Corey Holmes, a.k.a. Corey in the Cut. I got Ashley Nicole Moss with me.
I went first today.
I had to make sure I started with Ashley Nicole Moss today. We got Brandon the Beast Marshall. We got Woo out west. We got BC in the booth.
Okay.
The underdog.
The underdog. There you go. There you go. I like the attitude. We got BC in the booth, and mysterious Manda Legend is somewhere, but we don't know where he is.
He's at our studio.
Is he?
He's at a studio that we've been working on.
That's
in,
right.
The studio for the fall. So that's where Manda. Oh my.
We got some big stuff.
I don't
cooking.
have my mic in front of me. I've been talking this whole time without my mic. I'm not prepared. Anyways, go because it just all ruined. I didn't have my mic. No one could hear me. Move on.
Nah, that's all right. Hey, we got a good
matter.
show for y'all today, though. We actually have a guest joining the show. We have Dr. Chao. If you're not familiar with him, he spent 17 years as the head team physician for the San Diego Chargers, and he's just a medical expert in this field. We're going to have him on later to give us some updates, you know, on some injuries basically around the league, and we're going to have some other interesting topics to talk about with him. And today, we're going to break down the top 10 of the NFL Top 100. Patrick Mahomes, he came out on top. He was the with player, voted by players and others. And we're gonna break that down a little bit later. But guys, we gotta start with some news, some big news, right? So yesterday we learned that Richard Sherman has been named as the replacement for Shannon Sharpe on Fox Sports 1's Undisputed. How'd y'all feel about that?
Well, go ahead, Ashley.
Yeah, y'all looking forward
Sure,
to?
you always want to go first.
Y'all looking forward to seeing this duo?
I actually am very excited for it. I like Richard Sherman. I think he is the coolest mix of like very educated and smart and well spoken, but he also has that like savage, just like I'll dig at you raw type of thing about him. You know, I don't know if everybody remembers. I don't know how you can't. Where he says, "I'm better at life than you," when he said that to Skip when Skip was on First Take with Stephen A. And Stephen A. was just sitting there like watching a tennis match going back and forth. So I feel like he's a really good match. He needed somebody, you know, after Shannon leaving, he needed somebody who could articulate his points or their points, because it could have been a woman as well, articulate their points and get to and from their points quick, know the facts, know the information, but also have that rough around the edges aspect about them enough to kind of make Skip uncomfortable and hold him accountable and push back on him. And I think Richard Sherman is a great mix of those two worlds. So I like it. I'm actually excited for him.
Brandon, before you chime in, you alluded to an exchange that they had on TV, and we actually got a clip of it. So let's take a look at that. This is not the first time that they will be going back and forth on national television.
So we're waiting for BC to
say whatever you want. Skip can say whatever he wants, but Skip, whenever you refer to me, whenever you speak to me, whenever you address me as all-pro Stanford graduate, because those are some accomplishments you can aspire to, you will never accomplish. You have never accomplished anything. So, but those things are on my resume. Those are what I've done. It's my second year in the NFL, going on my third. I mean, you tell me who's wrong.
Okay, I'll accept that. I think I've accomplished more in my field than you have in yours, though you're just getting started.
So I'm the top of my field. So I'm all pro. I'm the best, one of the best 22 players in the NFL. You're going to brush it off, but I don't think you're the best 22 anything in sports and in media and anything. I think you think more of yourself than you actually can, prove. But
okay. Do you think you're better than Darrelle Revis is right now?
In my 24 years of life, I'm better at life than you.
Okay.
So let's
look at Stephen.
Let's not get personal.
He's trying not to laugh.
No,
that's
look
why.
at his eyes when he said it.
He's trying not to laugh. He's trying to hold in his laugh. That's why.
Hold on, can we do this real quick? I'm so sorry. Hey, we're on Sirius XM as well, Channel 103 Faction Talk. Shout out to our partners over there. And so for you guys that are listening, you can't see this. Ashley, please, let me go back to the last 10 seconds. BC, can you go to like the last 15 seconds of that video? No, look at his eyes.
I know,
when
he's
Richard
squinting
Sherman
so he
said
doesn't
that,
laugh.
look at his
Skip
eyes.
can say whatever he wants, but Skip, hey, those are what I've done.
Hold on, we at the top. Look at his eyes.
Players in the NFL. You're going to brush it off, but I don't think you're the best 22 anything in sports and in media and anything. I think you think more of yourself than you actually can,
my goodness, we couldn't fast
prove.
forward. We couldn't do it.
No, we're at the
Do you
right.
think you're better than Darrelle Revis is right now?
In my 24 years of life, I'm better at life than you.
Okay.
So
all right, that's fair.
That one hurt.
Okay.
I'm better at life than you.
Let's
Okay,
let's not
BC.
get personal here.
You can say whatever you want. Skip can say whatever
Tell
he
BC,
wants.
come on.
Skip, whenever you refer to me.
Oh my goodness, yo. So sorry guys, I had to take you on that journey. To me, that was hilarious. Ashley said he's trying not to laugh, but this is where it starts, right? Like you see this all the time in sports. Draymond Green doesn't like CP3. Ashley, he goes out there, for years and say, I don't like this guy, but now he's on this team. So what happens then? Tyreek Hill and Eli Apple. Mm-hmm. But now they're on the same team. So, there had to be a conversation obviously had between them two, because what you said about Richard Sherman and why this is going to work and this could be really a big move for everybody involved is because Richard Sherman is real. So what that clip that we just saw, that's how he really feel. But that's how we got to the Pat McAfees. That's how we got to the I Am Athletes, is because of that relationship that you see right there. Richard Sherman came on there with an attitude like, yo, why you keep talking about me the way you talking about me? Yeah. Right? He really didn't like Skip in that moment. Hell, he probably didn't like Skip until they put a bag in his face like, yo, here go M for you to come on the show for 50 to 100 episodes. That's what they said. He's going to be his football contributor, and he can probably appear in 50 to 100 episodes. So, Ashley, here's what I would say here. I like this, and I think this could be...
He's a football contributor? I thought he's Shannon Sharpe's replacement.
No, but they also brought in Lil Wayne.
Right, Lil Wayne's a contributor, but Richard Sherman was named the new co-host of Undisputed.
Yeah, but 50 to 100 episodes. So.
Only during the football season. Come basketball, he'll be full-time.
I don't think that was clear.
Yeah, because he's still going to be doing his Thursday night football responsibilities. He's part of that Thursday night football.
With the Amazon Prime? With
Amazon Prime. So I think the 50 to 100 episodes is only during the NFL season.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think come basketball season, he's a full...
Think the way I read it and how I see this is they're going to bring on basketball contributors. I feel like Skip sat back and FS1 sat back and they saw what First Take just went through. Stephen A. Smith and those guys let go of Max,
so then
and they brought
Shannon
in a bunch
Sharpe's
of contributors.
Replacement.
No.
Oh, but the way that they're putting that out there, he's not his replacement.
No,
if he was his replacement, he'd be the full-time co-host.
No, they said 50 to 100, but they're doing what Stephen A. Smith did with First Take a year ago, whenever that was. What did they do in football season? Michael Irvin came on 80 times through football season or something like that. Then they brought in Mad Dog on football, and they still have Ryan Sharps. You got I couldn't come up with a better BS name, to kind of throw some shade.
Who are we talking about?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So they got all these football contributors.
Whose name was that?
Yeah, don't matter. Yeah, come on, stay with me. Stay with me. Like I like to get messy. And then also in basketball season, they bring in basketball contributors. So here's what I would say. This show, and I think they may have even changed the name on the show to Morning or something. But this show reached the pinnacle, reached the peak, or I say the peak of this show with Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless. A lot of people came out here and was like, "Yo, this show's dope," and how are they gonna rebound from this? And he couldn't have played it better. I don't love Skip. I feel like how Richard Sherman and a lot of athletes feel about Skip. But I do have to give him his flowers right now. I gotta give him that. Like, he rebounded perfectly. You go out there and get Lil Wayne. I offered Lil Wayne. I've been talking to Lil Wayne and Mac Main for a year and a half about putting a sports show together with an artist and an athlete. So like when I saw that, I was like, oh no. But it's great. It's a great move. Lil Wayne knows all sports. He's phenomenal. And then you go get Richard Sherman. So I feel like the Undisputed reached this peak, Ashley. And now with these additions, they're going to bring their audience back. They're going to bring in new audience, people like myself that never watched before. I'll watch to see how this all works. How good is Lil Wayne? Is Richard Sherman really going to be himself and not the guy like buttoned up version? And if they do that, all these new people are going to come in and their ratings are probably going to be better. So I think this was a great move for everybody involved.
Yeah, no, agreed. But all right, guys, moving on. Of course, I'm looking forward to seeing those two go at it, but we'll see how that turns out. But moving on, guys. So this weekend, this is an interesting story from over the weekend. TikTok user Danger Cat posted to his TikTok, I believe is how it started, that if he had reached 75,000 likes, he'd purchase a one-on-one package against an NBA player. So I don't know if you guys have been following that story a little bit, but NBA players, Jimmy Butler's another one, has been offering their fans an opportunity to play them one-on-one, at a price.
Hold on 1 second. Let's go back.
What's up?
Let's go back. We got to go back. There's more meat on the bones with this first take, Undisputed.
Oh, you want to go back?
Yeah, we got to go back. I'm sorry.
Okay, got you.
We got to go back. There's people in the chat saying that Lil Wayne is not a great addition.
Oh.
You can't tell me that Lil Wayne is not a great addition. And this is Christy O. I love you here, and there's other people saying that. Lil Wayne.
I almost want to say if it's just Skip and Wayne, I don't know if that's a great addition. That might be what they're thinking. Because now you don't have the athlete side of things. You just have the entertainer, the musician, and then you have the analyst. So it's more opinions. There's no real experience speaking.
Yeah, but that's not the case.
About that.
The case is they're built.
Skip isn't an analyst. No shade.
Go ahead.
Would you consider him?
Pundit?
He's the same thing I consider what Stephen A. is at this point, an entertainer. They're not journalists because they don't follow journalistic code. They were journalists at one point when they were writing. Yeah. But at this point in their TV stage, they're more personalities than they are journalists. They're not analysts. They don't really break down the game. They're not color commentators. They don't call games. Their personalities is what they are at this point. So that's no shade. It's just what they are at this stage in the game. Yeah.
So we'll get back to Christy O and Lil Wayne thing, but actually, this is like the second, third time that you talked about, journalist code. Like, can you break that down for people like ourselves that didn't go to school or may not know it? Like, what are you referring to?
I consider myself a journalist.
Right.
Like, I don't consider myself a personality because when I report on stories and even in my breakdown of games or breakdown of stories, I follow journalistic integrity.
Right.
So you don't say certain things, you don't manipulate headlines, you don't, manipulate facts. It's very cut and dry.
Whoa, time out. I'm sorry.
What?
And I love what you're educating us here.
Yeah.
But journalists manipulate headlines.
They're breaking journalistic integrity. That's not what you're supposed to do. That's like rule number one.
The people who write for like the Wall Street Journal or the
It's rule
the
number
Post.
one. They're breaking it. Like,
well, they do that, but they do that all the time, like these sensationalized headlines.
And they're breaking journalistic integrity.
But so you agree with me that
no,
happens?
I agree with you. It happens a lot. But I'm somebody who that's like rule number one in journalism school. You never break journalistic integrity, and that's something that I'm very, we got
an argument over that.
Yeah, I stand on that.
Yeah, we got a big argument.
I stand on that. I don't believe in breaking journalistic integrity. So I think that the journalist has changed form. It's not like newspaper, read all about it journalists anymore. I think that they're more hyphenated and do different things. Like, I would say I'm a journalist and host, which is traditionally what a journalist is not supposed to be.
Yeah. And
I think also because of the way sports media and entertainment are intertwined, journalists sometimes become celebrities and personalities in their own right. They have things outside of what they do journalistically. And as a journalist, you're not really supposed to have relationships with athletes, friendships and things like that. Obviously, that's something that I have and I don't shy away from. I don't hide it. So I think that there's new age journalists, but I don't think Skip and Stephen A. are no longer within that field, and that's fine. They're bigger than that at this point. They're personalities, but journalists don't cross certain lines that they cross because it's an entertainment value.
Right.
So I think that's a little bit different. And also, you never see Stephen A. sitting down one-on-one doing a one-on-one interview. That's a journalist.
Yeah.
You never see them doing that at this stage. They're more just like talking heads, personalities.
Okay. So when are we going to see your one-on-one? The people are asking.
They are asking.
Get back into my bag sooner rather than later.
So when?
I don't know.
When? We put her on the spot.
Hit him with the hard
We want questions. 101. We want 101. Ashley 101.
Ashley 1v1.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a 3-on-1 soon.
What?
With the she trying to change the subject. So here's what I would say. We want the 101. So you got to fade us, Ashley. We want the 101 come this fall. We want to see it.
Okay.
People don't want to just hear me interrupt. Like, you have your own style, your own flow. So come this September, October, we would love to see the Ashley Nicole Moss show here on Paper Route.
Okay.
I Am Athlete.
I'm here for it.
But back to Christy O and everybody else in the chat right now.
We have breaking news though, if you want to get to that first.
Goodness.
The New Orleans Saints are expected to sign both Kareem Hunt and Anthony Barr if both players pass their physicals and are in shape.
That's not breaking news.
You guys don't care?
That's not breaking news.
No, it is.
I'm never getting my 30 seconds. I was about to.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know if the people.
I mean, to me,
Go
I
ahead.
didn't know if
Go
people
with your
wanted
breaking
that.
news. And have y'all realized that Ashley is our breaking news specialist?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like people want that. The chat
Go.
was telling me there was breaking NFL news, and I was sharing, and I went to go look it up. So Kareem Hunt,
it is breaking
and
because
Anthony
that
Barr.
comes in light of Alvin Kamara's suspension too. So it was an intentional.
Give
move by
Brandon
the
his
Saints.
30 seconds about Lil
right?
Wayne, so we don't have to hear about this anymore. For the love of God,
Can we establish what breaking news is?
that is breaking
It
news.
was breaking news.
Like, I mean, for like,
Does it have to
what
be a
makes
break?
what makes the ticker? What makes like we needed breaking
It
news?
was breaking news
hit-
enough for Rappaport to tweet it out.
Who?
Ian Rappaport.
Who?
Stop. Not Ian Rappaport,
think-
legitimate
Yeah,
source.
Ashley's in the
If it was
case,
Michael.
let me not piss off.
I don't
Ashley.
care. Just talk about Lil Wayne. I don't want to move past this. Oh my God.
No, seriously, I'm sorry to interrupt you and Corey, to go back here, but this is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people thought this show was going to fail, and so the way I see it right now, they're going to surround Skip surrounding himself with contributors, which I think is smart. I don't think there was a better rebound, and so Christy O, I don't understand why. I wish you can call and I wish you can Zoom. Ashley say you got a job. Ashley say you're working right now and you chime in at your desk. But you're here every day. Like, when can we have you on the show? Because this is what I want to talk about. This type of engagement I want to have with our fans. Chrissy O, Lil Wayne, have you been following Lil Wayne? Lil Wayne, he knows football. Hell, Lil Wayne broke the news on what Aaron Rodgers was going to do right here on I Am Athlete. Right?
I mean,
and then you think
I
about
feel like
basketball.
Everybody knew what Aaron Rodgers was going to do.
Yeah, but I'm talking. No, this was back before, when he came back to Green Bay.
I feel like everybody knew he was going to leave eventually.
all right.
Like, I don't feel like that was like,
Right.
But I mean, I get it. I think people are well, first of all, it's going to be funny because, Lil Wayne's a fan of like 25,000 different teams.
No, he's in
Yes,
all
he
sports.
is.
He's a hardcore Green Bay.
No, he's Green Bay.
No,
He's
sometimes
Green Bay.
he's a Green Bay fan.
No, he's always a Green Bay, and he's the Lakers.
He is not. I've seen him
definitely-
courtside rooting for like 4 different NBA teams. Don't start with
Because
me.
he got
Definitely not a
homeboys
local
on those
guy.
teams, but his teams are the Lakers.
Yeah, and
he's-
the Packers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
How do you
think
feel,
actually
Ashley,
a
that
Lakers
he's
fan?
not a
But think
local
about
guy?
this.
he's kind of Drake when it comes to the squads.
No,
I'm just
he's
saying.
not. No, he's not. No,
Okay.
he's not.
He won his
All
dip
right.
with his chip.
So here's what I would say. The last thing I would say here, and Ashley, if you want to add anything or you're just ready to move on, we can do that. But look at It Is What It Is with Cam and Mace, right? Like, it's working. That's what people want. We want realness. They want that conversation, that real barbershop talk. They want that. They don't want the stuff, the overly produced stuff that they've been giving us on all these networks for years. They want the raw. And who's doing that, right? Because I would say artists are more comfortable than most athletes going there. Yeah. And that's how we talk where we from. That's how we talk in a barbershop. That's how we talk. But then we get on TV and we got to be super buttoned up because we got all these partners and all these brand deals, right? Like Pat McAfee's going to ESPN. So now Pat McAfee, his language is going to change. He said it. Oh, I'm not going to be able to use the F word. I'm not going to be able to do this. It changes.
Yeah.
He reports to Mickey Mouse. And there's no shade, but that's what it is when you go to ESPN, ABC. So, I think this is going to work. And I think people are going to be surprised by Lil Wayne. And I'm also interested to see who else he brings in because I don't think he's done. So thank you for my 55 seconds. And we can now move on. But I do want to say this before we do move on. How long was it? How long was Ashley's rant yesterday? That I thought she said she was going to be quick, but it felt like 4 or 5 minutes. Did we ever?
It was 65 seconds is what it clocked in
I
at.
thought it felt more like 65.
Yes, I told you it was a minute. I watched when I started and I watched when I finished. It was literally a minute.
We actually have a super chat from Christio, but it's not a question. It just says, "Let me know how I can come on. You got to tell me."
Okay, bet. It's on you. All right. You guys are the producers and the technical people. Y'all tell me. I've been wanting Christio on. I've been wanting Go St. Patrick. Yeah. But we'll move on because Ashley's getting tired of me.
Listen.
We got a lot of stuff to get to.
I know we got a lot of stuff to get to.
Let's do it, huh?
All right.
Well, earlier I was giving y'all some context about the TikToker Danger Cat, but let's go to the video. He kind of lays it out better.
If this video gets 75,000 likes, I will buy this package and compete one-on-one versus Andre. Yeah, I mean, so we smashed that. I'm dedicating this video and the 1v1 that I play against Andre Drummond to all the haters out there that said, oh, he's never getting 75,000 likes. I mean, bro thinks he's relevant. I set that goal because it costed me $448. But yeah, the 1v1 is booked this Sunday. Be there.
Now, you know, AD took care of, you know, work. He ended up actually winning the game. But a cool experience for, you know, for the TikTok
Dope
Danger Cat, right? I mean, I was going to ask you, too, be like, was this something that you would do for your kids? Would you buy, like, a little one-on-one package for your kid if it was, like, their favorite NBA player?
If I had to, but we have the relationship, so we
don't have to.
I mean,
you gotta support the athlete, though, right?
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting. It's interesting. Through my kids, I'm starting to become a fan. Mm-hmm. Like, my son, he likes NLE Chopper, right? So, like, my son, he loves OBJ. He loves, in basketball, he likes Bam. Okay. He like, you know what I mean, out of all the people. So like now I'm finding myself, now I got to be a fan. Like if I see Bam, like, hey Bam, like would love to connect with you, just get a picture with my son, that type of thing. So I'm becoming more of a fan, and I like this. Ash, I want to get your thoughts here on how you saw this video, you know, because like I can go on for days here.
I think it was cool. I mean, I'm assuming the money probably went to charity or something like that. I don't think he like pocketed it. But I am slightly annoyed though, because I've been wanting a one-on-one competition between NBA players to be part of All-Star Weekend for years. For years. Yeah. Athlete versus athlete. I don't want to see the freaking skills challenge. I don't care about that. I want to see one-on-one matchups, random matchups, fan-voted matchups. We talked about it on this very show. I don't want to see an in-season tournament. I want one-on-one matchups between Kyrie, James Harden, Luka, LeBron. Like, I want to see the best of the best go at it. I'm told that, oh, they're not going to do it because their egos are involved. This makes me mad. So you're willing to go one-on-one with someone that you know you can beat, but you don't want to go one-on-one with someone that you might lose to, that might be more challenging, more fun to watch, push you to the limit? That's crap. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
I like that idea. They have committees. We need to start, what is it called? We need to start standing on the table yelling that Ashley should be added to the NBA All-Star Committee.
I'm just saying, I'd have that place jumping.
That's a great idea, because you're one of the ones that feel like there needs to be much more changes to the NBA All-Star approach, right?
For sure. I don't think the All-Star Weekend should be in February.
Right.
I think that they should, because you have a lot of guys who are forfeiting vacation time, like going away to Turks and Caicos for the week, resetting their body, and they're going someplace because they're voted into the All-Star game, and they're going to cold cities, smaller market cities, forfeiting their vacation, and when it's all said and done, they maybe have 2 days left.
So what are you proposing?
I think they should do it how the MLB does it. Well, the MLB season's a little bit longer, so theirs is still in the middle of their season, but I think that All-Star Weekend should happen around the NBA draft.
Right.
When everything's over and done with, make it the exact same week of the NBA draft, so you have All-Star Weekend or week or whatever, and then the grand finale is the NBA draft. You have all the biggest stars there supporting the next class coming in. It's after the season, so people aren't forfeiting a vacation. People aren't, not gonna participate because they don't want to be injured for the remaining of the season that actually counts the most.
Right.
You can preserve your body. At the end of the season, if you did it, the championship's already been played. The winner's already been determined. The off season's officially begun. Guys would be more willing to participate in an all-star that has no bearing on the regular season if it just is shift a few months.
Hey, listen, those are great points. We got to get Ashley on the committee, so we'll get something going where everybody has to sign up. What is that called where everybody signs something?
Petition, right?
Petition. We'll put together a petition and get Ashley on. Here's what I would say to this video, right? Like, if you watch that video, Andre, and hopefully he's not watching because he trains here as well. I feel like he's going to be like, damn, why y'all show all my bad clips, right? So he can walk in his room right now and be like, yo, what are y'all doing, right? So hopefully he's not watching. I feel like the biggest mistake he made is that he took it too easy on him, right? And you do that. You're a pro athlete. You go out there. Even when we go to camps, you know, football camps, like we do one-on-ones with little kids, and we sometimes take it too easy. But soon as they get one off on you, right, the video go viral. He went too easy on this dude. He playing around. He should have just went from the beginning like, yo, I'm going to beat you 11-0, right? So eventually he got the win. He ended up dunking on a dude, hit a big 3. But, like, he shouldn't play around. And I want to see more of this. I think this is cool. I like your thing about All-Star, but, like, I think more guys should do this throughout the year, obviously off season.
Well, speaking of guys and doing more in the off season, this is
more breaking news.
Probably a really weird transition. It works. Congratulations are in order to Russell and Ciara. They are expecting another baby together, and this was the announcement that just went live on Instagram about an hour ago.
Summer in the wind. You look at me like that, it can we make another kid. You're my heart, I'm your rib. If I ever had to for you, I would do a bid. And I can tell that you're ready. 3, 2, 1, it's going down like confetti. Water 10 to 1 shots again. If we do it on the phone, promise that we're gonna trend. Ooh, don't kill the vibe. You know what I like, Daddy. It's on tonight. I'm talking on side. That's just how we roll. You know what it is. How we roll. You know what it is. Like that. That's just how we roll. How we roll. You know what it is. Like that.
So this video was shot during their anniversary trip in Japan, which was a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
But yeah, this makes baby number 4 for Ciara, and technically baby number 3 for Russell. But if you've heard him speak about baby Future, it's baby number 4 for him as well. That's because he considers Future to be his son and his own as well. So it's their 4th kid together. I'm just gonna say it like that. Congratulations! They make really cute babies. I love the names that they give their kids, and they're a really just cute little family. I had a feeling she was gonna get pregnant again. The way Russell be looking at her, I'm like, there's no way this girl's not gonna get this woman's not gonna get pregnant again. But they seem very happy. Their kids are super cute. Yeah. So congratulations. Congratulations.
Big congratulations. You know, the video was fire. Can we talk about the video? Ciara is so talented.
Russell actually shot that on the iPhone, the article said.
He did.
Really?
Yes, and he shot it himself.
No way.
On the iPhone.
Yeah, he was giving photo creds in the post.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. That was really good. He panned out. Did you see how he panned out?
Yeah, right.
It's not that hard to pan out on an iPhone.
That's insane, B.
Well, here's what I would say. Y'all know that I'm close to them, and I've been around them a bunch of times. And all he's asking for is like babies. And it's a challenge, right? Because she has her own career. You know, she's doing her own thing. She's super talented. She's, I don't know her place in, what would you say her place in like this pop culture world? Like you talk about dancing, like there's the Chris Browns of the world. And then there's the Ciara's, you know, and her career is different. Like I'm not comparing her to the, the art. No, I can't say that. I was about to say Art Kelly.
No, but
I'm saying from a musical standpoint, it's a difference. Like you got to put her more in pop because she's the dancing, the swagger, the style.
Yeah, she's an incredible dancer. I think musically, like her relevance is based on more of her past work. I mean, she's a two-time Grammy winner, and she has some of the hits that we all grew up with, like Goodies, 1-2 Step, you know, not even her collabs with Bow Wow that she did, even the stuff, you know, that she did Prom. Like she has a great catalog. Her recent stuff's a little bit more like, you know, TikTok-y, and that's really kind of the bag that she's been in. But I mean, I feel like her place, you know, musically, she's kind of already solidified that she, you know, is a pioneer in the game. You know, I feel like she was one of the biggest women to ever come out of Atlanta and just kind of put a stamp on, you know, what musically comes out of there, her collabs with Luda and stuff like that. And now she's in a different space in her life. She does like fashion stuff. And
baby number 4.
Yeah, but she's dope.
Ciara had 4 babies. She popped out 4 babies. She's going to pop out 4.
She looks good.
Wow. So you got Future, Sienna, and you have Win. So what's this baby's name going to be?
I don't know. I wonder if it's a boy or a girl.
Jeez. All right. Well, there you go. I love it. I love it, man. Cute. Like, I know my boy Russ been going through a lot this past year. I say this, you know, I try to keep, well, I do keep all my stuff private, like, you know, those type of relationships, but he's a cool dude. You know, definitely locked in and, you know, different than some people, but like I wish more people saw him the way I see him in those private settings, right? But as a public figure, you always got to be on. You got to protect yourself, and you can't give the public everything, right? Some things are just private. Some people don't need that. So
yeah. Well, more news.
Yeah.
More news. Is it breaking news?
It's not breaking news, but it's have some respect news.
Okay.
Messi sets an MLS record with 7 goals in 4 games. Now, according to Marca.com, this is the highest number in the history for an MLS player in their debut season in that number of games. So never has that been done. He scored 2 goals in the win against Dallas Football Club. Now, this says the breakdown here says 4-4. They actually won 5-4 because the penalty kicks, they solidify it. Inter Miami has not lost a game since Messi's arrival. Just going to put that out there. Now, I'm going to go see him Friday.
The man's great.
I'm going to go see him on Friday for the quarterfinals. Very excited.
It's here?
It's here in Miami. Fort Lauderdale, technically.
You're gonna love it.
Me and my friend Anna are gonna go. We're big Messi fans. But yeah, it's just for everybody who you know said that he was washed and he was old. Brandon, nobody cares. Why is this a big deal? He doesn't play. He's not that guy anymore. I mean, just men lie, women lie. Numbers don't lie.
So yesterday, you know, there was Messi scored a lot of goals, and there were some things that I thought you were going to cover. And you said, well, I'm not going to cover it because I'm tired of being the only one to talk about Messi. And so I thought I was going to be able to take some shots at you yesterday. I may be prepared to respond to you today. Do we have the video? Because you're talking about Messi. This is what's happening right now, right? Do we have this video to describe? Can we throw to this video, right? So this is a clip that went viral, Ashley. This is a clip that went viral on Twitter, Instagram, et cetera, and they basically said, this is Messi in the MLS, right? This is his competition. So you talking about 7 goals in 4 games, haven't lost. That's it. Roll it again, because Ashley's like, she didn't know this.
BC.
Look at her face. Roll it again. Look at MLS in America. I wish you saw.
I'm not even going to. That's not even like. Yes,
that ain't Barcelona.
We all know it's not the Premier League. We all know whatever. But that does not negate the fact that what Messi is doing is extremely impressive. And also, it's not even cool to like. We're not gonna diss the MLS. They're doing stuff that none of us could do.
You playing?
Last time I checked, you can't play in the MLS.
Do you think
you don't think I could be?
You
goalie?
can't play in the MLS.
You don't think I can be goalie?
The U.S. the women's soccer team is in the MLS. Do they not play great soccer?
No, that's different. That's a big difference. They play great ball. You talk about comparing leagues.
What's the difference?
We're comparing leagues, representing your country on the biggest stage in the World Cup.
But they come from the MLS.
Different. Yeah, they do.
So is the talent that you see on the national team not good?
So no, what we need to do is compare the MLS to the Premier League. That's what we do. Don't compare. Don't say talent.
Because
there's some talented.
No, time out. If you're gonna diss the MLS,
go ahead.
Okay, diss the MLS, but then you can't go ahead and celebrate the national team when all of those women come from the MLS. So by dissing the MLS, you're basically saying that our national team, when they do go out there and play, is lesser than the competition they're playing against. Is that how you feel?
Okay, bet. So let me break it down for you. And look, this is what Ashley like to do. This
I'm
how
just
she
saying,
like to do.
is that how y'all feel?
I'm talking right now. Look how she jump in. And she goes, no, I'm not going to get into this with you.
That's what
in the corner.
No, that's what all of y'all just said. I'm not just asking you, I'm asking everybody here. Like, if that's, is that how y'all feel? Because if you're dissing the MLS, you're dissing the national team.
But that ain't what I was saying.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying I guess what we're saying is that y'all gonna join me on this.
Corey's not in it. It's me and you. All right, and it's versus Corey and Ashley for real.
Corey and the Alabama.
I know.
They're taking the very best of the MLS and putting them on one national team. But by what you're saying is, if the MLS is just not good quality, then basically that team should suck. But it doesn't. So I'm confused.
Are you practicing journalistic integrity right now, Ashley? Hold on. Are you practicing journalistic integrity right now? The way you're interrogating us right now, and putting words in our mouth.
No, I'm just trying to figure out like where you guys are trying to get at. You could just stop at
no.
All right, go ahead, Woo, and then I'll take the floor.
It's basically the All-Star game. You get what I'm saying? So, like, you're taking the best players
from where?
From all these MLS teams, because they have bench players. Actually, they have people
who
aren't as good.
No, I'm aware.
Okay, so
I'm aware.
When you combine the best, when you combine the best, then you're gonna have a greater team.
Don't get wrapped up in what her face is.
All of them are done. I'm done. Ashley looking at me crazy right now.
That's what I'm saying. That's how you lose. That's how you lose the debate. That's what she do. She look at you like that, then she interrupt you. She twist it. All right, can I have the floor, Ashley?
You do realize, time out.
See what I'm saying?
You do realize that the women's MLS is, if we want to go ahead and compare the numbers and the stats, is better than the men's MLS, right?
I said that.
Okay. So,
but that's not what. Go ahead, Brian.
Can I have it? All right. So,
go ahead.
So here's what I'm saying. I don't know what Woo say. I'm gonna throw you under the bus because you just had the floor and you folded. Okay. So here's what I'm saying, Ashley, is Messi. All right, is an individual, he's a player. So we can talk about Messi in two different leagues, the MLS or the Premier League. And there's more leagues over there. It's not just the Premier League. Woo, can you maybe read out some? There's the ball they play in the UK is totally different than some other things, right? Whatever. Russia, et cetera, et cetera. So what I'm saying is over there, their league, their competition, the business around it makes the MLS look like the G League. And so now your point is, well, how do we then celebrate our national team and say, the women's that, this isn't good soccer, but they're out there winning on the biggest stage. So yes, now we're comparing women versus men, and the women's soccer in the U.S. is better than the men's. There needs to be a lot of changes. But now when you compare MLS, not the World Cup, you compare the women's pro league here compared to the Premier League, across the world. It doesn't even compare though. So MLS versus Premier League. It doesn't compare.
No, I'm not comparing the Premier League to the MLS. One, the MLS is a much younger league.
Okay.
I'm not making the comparison.
So competition is different.
I'm not comparing the two, but you're basically saying that the men and women who play in the MLS aren't on par talent-wise with Europe.
They're not.
So are the players not, or are the leagues not?
The players aren't.
Okay, so
because the players, think about this. These players, a lot of these players, there's some players, the aging older players that was in the Premier League. They don't even get a opportunity anymore.
So it's not the league that you feel it's the players.
It's both.
And now it's both. Which one was it?
It's both. It's both. It's both because the players, if they had a choice, they would go to the Premier League. Everybody wants to play for Barcelona. Everybody wants to be on all these PSG. They want to be there, right? But they're not good enough. That's the facts. Messi, think about it. This is why it was so big, because Messi left the Premier League or playing for Barcelona, the PSGs of the world, having those opportunities, say, I'm going to go play in the MLS, less money, less notoriety, and lesser competition. It's like me as a football player right now saying, you know what, I'm not going to go. I'm going to pass up my opportunity to go to the NFL, and I'm going to go to what The Rock is doing over at the XFL because he's giving me a bigger deal. Come on. If Justin Jefferson went to the XFL right now, he would have 300 yards receiving every game.
Okay, but what you guys are saying, I'm not disagreeing that the Premier League is better than the MLS. That's not what I'm saying. But you guys are trying to make this push this narrative that Messi is able to do all of the things that he is doing because he's in an inferior league, as if he wasn't playing this way when he was in the superior league. There's no it's him.
I hear what
you're saying. The league doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's two things. It's him and it's also the competition.
The competition doesn't matter. He was doing it before he got here.
Has he scored 7 goals in 4 games before? I would say yes. I think Ashley's right there. But how often is he doing it? And then also, when's the last time he scored 7 goals in 4 games? He hasn't done that in years. So this is an aging Messi, a GOAT. Yes, he is that great. But the reason why he's able to do it at this phase of his career is because, yes, he is Messi, but the competition is low. He wasn't scoring those 7 goals in 4 games where at PSG. He wasn't doing that.
I can't wait for the
Boppy.
I'm not about to sit here at all. I'm not about to sit here and argue with him about lying on Messi. This is
Can we go to the
insane.
facts?
I wouldn't hold
Ashley,
it
do you not hear what I'm saying, though?
I wouldn't hold it past.
This is insane to me. You are literally saying that the GOAT right now is only playing at this level because he's playing against basically children.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Hold on one second. Okay. Can I ask you this question? LeBron James goes to the Summer League or G League, or Kevin Durant goes there. Pick any great, our top 5 NBA players. They go to the G League. Do their numbers go up or do they stay the same?
Have you watched G League?
I'm asking you. I'm asking. She won't answer the question.
I would have.
Got her.
It depends.
Got her.
It depends which G League team. Some of them are better than
G League team.
Some G League teams are better than others.
Any G League team.
5 Scoot Henderson.
I don't know. Scoot Henderson came from the G League. That was his team when he was there.
See now this
what I'm saying is it's not a comparison. First of all, they pull from the G League all the time. So if the competition was drastically inferior, they wouldn't be pulling them on NBA teams.
If LeBron,
which G team? Give me a G League team.
The best.
Which one?
Ignites.
I don't even know them because they're irrelevant.
NBA.
He doesn't know. That's why I'm asking.
It's irrelevant.
Which one?
The best.
Okay, he plays on Ignite. What's your question?
If LeBron James if he plays in the G League, does his numbers go up or down or stay the same?
I would have to see it.
Why you?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
But here's the difference. Even if his numbers took a slight increase, I'm not gonna say, oh, LeBron's only doing this because he's in the G League. He's LeBron freaking James. He could do it anywhere. It doesn't matter. That's my point.
It's both.
It's not. I'm not gonna go back.
Both.
I'm not gonna go back and forth about
this. Is it? Corey, can you help me? What do you think?
I can honestly say it's probably both. It's probably both, but.
I think it's crazy disrespectful.
Even with that, that's not to say that he's not going to do that at a high level too. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a stat that says he's got 10 goals in 4 games. You know what I'm saying?
Before. Yes, I'm sure he's. Go ahead.
All right, just so I could clarify this, I have an article here that says he's scored 4 or more goals in a match on 7 different occasions.
Thank you.
For sure. But that's of course.
That's my point.
Of course.
There is my point.
But here's the thing. When's the last time he did that?
Oh my God.
2020.
This is a big
2020.
2020, Brandon.
Okay, that's a big deal. Of 3 years is a big deal.
It's not even 3 years. It's not even 3 years. He just came in the middle of the MLS season. He's fresh off his off season.
Before that, it was 2017, and before that was 2013. So there are some gaps.
But
it doesn't even matter. What y'all saying, what Ashley is saying is right. Like what Corey just said, I wouldn't be surprised if he scored 10 goals in 4 games. Of course, because he's the GOAT. But you can't tell me you put Messi in a lower level league that his production won't go up. Because he wasn't doing this the last 2-3 years.
He just gave you a stat
2020, that's a big deal. That's a big gap.
Think about what it's not that big. It is not that big of a gap. First of all, Messi has entered the MLS halfway through the season.
That what you keep leaning to that point that don't matter.
He's fresh off of his own season. He won a World Cup. It's not even a full 3.
And what did he do in the World Cup?
Win it.
He won it, but what about his production? How many goals did he have?
What do you mean?
How many goals did he have? No, he did not have mad goals. No, he did not.
In the match that won like the World Cup final, I think he had
compared to other World Cups, his production has dipped.
Are you
listen? Both of y'all.
Are you insane?
It
I
says
gotta
he has
say both of y'all are
7
right, though.
goals.
I gotta say
No,
both of
time
y'all
out,
in the World
Corey.
Cup.
Did you just say
How many games?
did you just say since the World Cup his
Ashley, you're
production
wrong.
has dipped?
Ashley, you're wrong. LeBron James is an aging athlete in the NBA. Points per game, his minutes, how many games he's playing. Look over the last 3-4 years and see, has there been a decrease or increase, or has he stayed the same? There's a decrease. So you take a LeBron James and you put him in a lower level league, he's going to freaking destroy the G League, okay? You put Justin Jefferson in an XFL, Justin Jefferson's going to go from averaging 105 yards a game to 250 yards a game. That's what I'm saying. Yes, is he the GOAT? Absolutely. Is he really good? Absolutely. Has he done these things on the biggest stage before? Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, put any of these guys at a lower level league in any sports, the production goes up.
But the number of what he has done in the MLS, he literally did in one game with the superior competition less than 3 years ago.
Ashley,
he's fresh off of a World Cup.
I'll say this as an athlete that played 13 years at the highest level.
Did you play in the Premier League and I was unaware?
This is what I'm gonna tell you as an athlete. There's a big difference. There's a big difference between 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. How many times have we seen guys just totally be washed in a year or two? What happened to this guy? What happened to him just a year ago? So don't tell me, oh, in 3 years it's not a big deal. They play more. They have, do you know, Premier League, even the league that they're in with the PSG, that they play, they only get 1.5 months off. They play matches all week, year around. So you mean to tell me that Messi body feels the same way that today that he did 3 years ago? Come on, you can't sell me on that, Ashley. You can't.
All right, we gotta leave it.
We weren't even talking about that. Now we're talking about how his body feels. That's not what we're talking.
You just brought it up as far as like production. You said that.
You said that. You said that
just 3 years ago. Just 3 years ago, he scored whatever goals in 2020.
You said that his production has fallen off in 3 years. I said that's not even remotely close to the truth.
It's not. We just looked at goals. That's all he did. All we did is hold on one second.
Are we watching the same person play?
Ashley, let's look at it. All we gotta do is look at the stats. You mean to tell me everything has been the same over the last 3-4 years? How old is Messi?
Old enough to still
How
get
old
the
is
job.
I got 36 years old.
He's 36. So is he in his prime, or is Messi still in his prime?
I don't know. You're the one who said when he made the announcement he was coming to Miami that he was washed. So I mean,
he's not in his prime.
So let me give y'all some stats too. The last season on PSG, he made what shows here to be 16 goals, and then the season before was 6, and before that it was 30, 25, 36. So he had some kind of drop off.
He had a bad year.
He had a bad year? Okay.
Or I think he was injured. You'd have to look it up. I think there was an injury.
Keep going. Some of his biggest years.
Keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
But you're missing the biggest thing, the World Cup. Like
his biggest year was 50 goals in 2012, and 2013, 46.
And then what else? 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018.
I'll go in that order. So in 2013, it was 28, then 43, 26, 37, 34, 36, 25, 36, and then 16.
Keep going.
No, it's not. No, keep going. So has his production stayed the same? It's
taken a slight dip. It's still very high numbers, but it's taken a slight dip from the 40s down to like the mid 30s to now what looks like it could start to bubble back up to around the mid 20s.
You mean for MLS? That's what you're just last year you said he had 16. No.
I'm
MLS he'll have 34. He'll go back up to 40.
Oh, okay.
But we're talking about the last 16, 6, et cetera, et cetera. Come on, that's a dip in production. Why is it? Is it because is he getting older? What is it? Let's get down to it.
I'm a little bit of an ageist.
Be seeing the booth. You might have to hit him with
over
the buzzer,
35, I kind of.
No, it's just it's a great discussion. It is, and we're just on opposite ends of the spectrum here. And I think when we have more time in the future, maybe we bring it back, and maybe Ashley will have more statistics that can show me that a 36-year-old athlete isn't on a decline.
All righty, that was a great discussion, guys.
Well, you rushing to go to the next topic? Okay.
Hey, the chat was telling y'all times was up. For about 5-10 minutes now.
Okay.
All right, but now let's get to it. Like I said at the top of the show, the top 100, the final list of the top 100 was aired yesterday, and the top 10 came out, and Patrick Mahomes was number 1. But we're gonna take a look at the list and kind of break it down, see where some players, might have. Should have jumped somebody. But look, we got Patrick Mahomes. We got Justin Jefferson coming in at 2. Jalen Hurts at 3, and the list is up there, and so on and so forth. How y'all like the top 10?
Top 10 for me, Patrick Mahomes. I love that. I thought Justin Jefferson, I was surprised to see Justin Jefferson sitting here at 2. You know, a lot of times we don't really value the wide receiver position that much. A lot of times you'll see, you know, in the top 5, top 10, you know, running back can sneak in there and it's filled with a lot of quarterbacks. But going off of last year, he was. I mean, if the MVP wasn't a quarterback's trophy, then Justin Jefferson would have won it, right? Like, it was that good. He was that good. It was unbelievable watching him week in and week out. Jalen Hurts, saw something recently, maybe as early as, as late as this morning, someone come out and say that he played the quarterback position in a Super Bowl better than any quarterback has ever played it, right? Like, from passing to running, his decision-making, just how efficient he was. Nick Bosa's a dog. Travis Kelce, can go down as the best tight end. I'm not surprised here. Joe Burrow, Tyreek Hill, Josh Allen, Parsons, Chris Jones. Like, I'm not shocked here. I don't have any pushback here, right? None whatsoever. Right. Do you have any pushback here?
I was going to ask you, do you like Micah Parsons over Chris Jones?
Woo, that's tough. I'll be honest with you. I don't have an eye for interior defense alignment and offense alignment. Like, I think there's people out there that really can lean into, the breakdown of the interior guys, right? Like, Aaron Donald jumps out to me because he plays all positions. Chris Jones, he's just interior. Sometimes every once in a while to put him in a package, different matches, put him outside. Micah Parsons, this dude played linebacker, play edge. They move him around in different sets. I'm not surprised here. I wouldn't have been surprised. Well, he had a really good year. I was going to say I wouldn't have been surprised if he was higher on this list. I would say this. I'll be shocked if Micah Parsons isn't top 5 this year. Wow, I think he's going to break the sack record. I think that he's going to do some things that we've never seen done before at his position. Where he's at, he's in his prime. The game has slowed down for him. Even his mindset. Think about everything that's coming out of Dallas Cowboys training camp when he's talking about how he's holding his teammates accountable. Like, this dude's going to have a legendary year.
Yeah.
I think the top 100 list is stupid.
Really? Please explain.
I just think it's dumb. Honestly, it doesn't really make any sense to me, truthfully. Like, okay, for example, Patrick Mahomes' 2022 rank was 8, right? The Chiefs were number 1 in their division last year. 14-3, 7-1 at home. How the hell was he the 8th best player in the NFL with that? Somebody make that make sense to me. Yeah. So you're telling me that it took him winning the Super Bowl to jump 7 spots because 2022 he was that doesn't even make any sense. Like, that's why this list, I never really put that much stock into it. They had freaking, I think, Lamar Jackson like in the top 8, like the top, what was it, like 80 something this year, something crazy like that, like
71 or something like that.
The list is dumb. There's no way in hell that Patrick Mahomes, even not winning the Super Bowl last year, was the 8th best player in the NFL.
Listen, Ashley, you're not far off. If I had to lean any way, I would say to your side and say that you're right, because you got to understand who's voting on this, right? It's the players, but you got to understand which players. So not every player is voting. They're tracking people down. They'll come in the cafeteria, they'll come to the facility and they have like, interns running around like, hey, Brandon, can you sit down and put your top 100 in? I don't got time on a 10-minute break. Right, in between team meeting to, offensive group to sit down and put my top 100 in. You think Tom Brady is sitting down putting top 100. So what happens is, there's only a small group of guys voting on it. And then when you're kind of rushing. So it's not, well thought out, and it's not everyone, involved, engaging in this. So I think you're right, Ashley, and I think there might be an opportunity to kind of revamp this and tweak this as well.
Yeah, and one more too, Brandon, because Devontae Adams, if you noticed, he didn't crack the top 10, and Tyreek Hill obviously is at number 7. Do we like that? Do we like Tyreek Hill coming in at number 2 as opposed to Devontae Adams? He was at 13 this year.
Yeah, I mean, Devontae, like, part of this too is like the market you're in and an exposure. Devontae still had a big year. Can you look that up? He might have had 15.
He led the NFL in touchdowns. 14.
Right, but Tyreek Hill, it was a lot of conversation around the Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill, he had a legendary year. Every Sunday you turn on the tube, it was some 60-yard bomb that he was catching, 170 yards receiving. So, like, I'm not mad at Tyreek being here, you know, but, you know, that's part of the problem, man. It's like it's an opinion by a few players.
I like how they.
I was just gonna say Devontae had 1,500 yards last year
It's a huge year.
with a 60-yard longest catch last year, and Tyreek Cheetah had 1,700 with a long catch of 64.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not mad at that, Corey.
Anything to chime in before we move on, Ashley?
Nah, I think the list is dumb.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
always
I see
thought.
that.
I've always thought
I
it
would
was
also
dumb.
say only Patrick Mahomes seemed to repeat this list. I looked at last year's 2022 list. Not one person repeated other than him.
It's hard. But I said that, too, about the wide receiver.
You mean in the top 10?
In the top 10.
Oh, I was like,
sorry.
how's that math
top
work?
10.
They were
Top
they're
10.
definitely on the list last year.
Before
Tom
we move
Brady.
on, I'll say this. Like, you know, Ashley, maybe we throw around, you know, 2 to 3 people that we feel can have a breakout year and potentially creep into the top 25 or top 10, right? So for me, who do I really like? Well, it's old school. Where's Aaron Rodgers going to be? Sauce Gardner. A lot of times when you have the exposure around a cornerback, right, whether it's Jalen Ramsey, we talked about Richard Sherman earlier, Revis Allen just was inducted to the Hall of Fame. You know, a lot of people just start putting everything behind you. So I can see even a Sauce Gardner having if he has close to 10 picks, I can see Sauce Gardner being in the top 10. So I'm leaning on the Jets, Ashley, because I think the Jets is going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. And then on the NFC side, I got the Cowboys. So I talked about Parsons, top 5. You know, is there anybody else from the Cowboys that could potentially break through? They're going to have a big year. You know, so, you know, there's a few guys out there that's going to have some breakout years.
It looks like they only got the Chiefs players to vote on this list. There's 4 of them in the top 10.
Is there Chris,
Kelsey,
Holmes,
Jones,
and who else?
Did I miss? Did I count an extra one?
Were you considering Tyreek Hill as like a former?
I
chief?
thought somebody. Well, I mean, he's a former chief, but yeah.
Right.
No, I
So
thought
they
I
voted
saw.
for
I thought I
him.
saw
They
what's
still
his
like
name
him.
on there.
Yeah, good point.
Well, I mean, it's freaking 3 of them, and I think it was just they went to the Chiefs
They actually wrote
cafeteria.
their
It was like,
100.
yeah. Just everyone just put their name in the ballot.
Yo, have we seen the last of the days maybe of a running back cracking the top 10? There's no running backs in the top 10.
No. Like, listen, the running back position is evolving. I wouldn't be surprised if
what backs
Christian
you think?
McCaffrey, he stays healthy. If he's there, he had a comment come out. He had a comment that he made this week, I believe, maybe it was yesterday, Monday, where he was like, it feels good not to be learning the 49ers playbook, but mastering it. And that's a big deal. Year, you know, does a lot. So he could go out there and have 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards on the ground, right? 15 touchdowns, 20 touchdowns. So I don't think it's over. It's just going to look a little different. And there's still going to be guys that go out there. Derrick Henry.
Yep.
They're still the old school ground and pound guys. Like, I don't know when he's going to slow down. Hell, he might go over 2K again this year.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Who you think is like a lock to be on this top 10 list next year?
Ashley.
Patrick Mahomes.
Astradamus will be able to tell us.
Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill. Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a reach, Travis. You don't think?
You don't think Travis is going to be on the top 10 again?
I thought 5 was a pretty high ranking
Micah
for him.
Parsons.
I say the Chiefs will have to be contenders again next year. To see a guy like Travis Kelce, and because we're not sure how the dynamic of that offense is going to be. So if the Chiefs are contenders, it's likely that Travis Kelce had another big year with Patrick Mahomes. So he could possibly come back.
Joe Burrow.
But this is a real thing, and nobody's really talking about it, right? Remember last year, Joe Burrow had what surgery did he have? It was like appendix or something removed. There was something that happened.
Why are you holding this for your appendix?
Where's your appendix?
It's pretty
Your
low.
appendix is a lot lower than where you're holding.
It was his
appendix.
I would hope your appendix is not that high up. Otherwise, you have.
But they started off rough. Ashley got off to a rough start. I believe in this team. This team is a contender for sure. But Joe Burrow, what is he dealing with? We talked about this before the show, Corey, right? Like, Remember Kevin Durant had the calf, then it came back?
What was it? It's a strain, right?
Yeah, but my thing is he's missing all this time. So they're going to be behind the 8 ball start this year. They're going to be behind the Jets. They're going to be behind the Buffalo Bills. They're going to be behind, the Chiefs of the world. So when we say like Joe Burrow, hell, they might get behind that 8 ball and never catch up. Yeah. Are they going to be a good team? Yeah, but are they going to be? Man, you got some really good teams in the AFC. So when we talk about is it going to be the Chiefs or the Bengals, I really think we need to look at this injury really seriously and closely.
Yep. All righty. All right, so we're going to move on. We got the first episode of HBO's Hard Knocks releasing tonight. The New York Jets are going to be, the team featured this year, and we actually got their trailer, so let's take a look at it real quick.
There's a lot of expectations on this football team. They're dangerous. Watch out.
To achieve the results you want, it doesn't happen on game day. It happens today with every breath you take.
This guy is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Push each other. Make it hurt. It's time to rewrite our story.
Here we go. So.
Well, you know what, Brandon? First and foremost.
Yeah.
That opening scene of Central Park, I did not appreciate that. That is not in New Jersey. That does not exist in the state of New Jersey. That belongs to New York. So I would appreciate them to stick to the New Jersey skyline, whatever that may be. Get a skyline of Hoboken or Newark or wherever. But you can't show Central Park. That does not belong to you.
But is the Cowboys in Dallas?
Ooh,
they're close. They're
come on,
Arlington.
Stay pointing this out. Y'all don't even play in Dallas.
Y'all don't even play in the same state. We play in the state of Texas.
Hey, we the same difference.
You don't. We're not the same difference.
Okay.
We're definitely different people. But we at least pay the same taxes of the state that we play in. Y'all play New Jersey taxes, but rep the New York name. How does that work?
Great comeback, Ashley. Great rebound. That was a great rebound because I thought I had you for a second.
No, I'm just saying. Maybe get a skyline on the Jersey Shore next time.
Well, we know Ashley's beef with New York. Well, not crazy beef with the Jets, big beef with the Giants, but we know your beef and we understand how you feel.
I don't dislike the Jets. I just don't like that they use a New York name and they don't play there.
Well, look, Ashley, we talked about this last week. Ashley said she's definitely tuned in. She's excited about HBO, Hard Knocks. A lot of us are. I mean, it's a legendary show. She's not a big fan of Quarterback on Netflix. I'm trying to convince her to watch it. This promo was not exciting to me. Hard Knocks always have like these sound bites or these promos that make you like get to the edge of your seat and say, I gotta tune in. I thought they could have done a better job of incorporating Aaron Rodgers, showing his personality, even the behind the scenes stuff of them, playing like laser tag in the facility.
Did you want footage of him in the darkness retreat?
Yeah, like I want to see more. Like I want to see where the drama. That's what. Like I need more drama. That's what makes Hard Knocks Hard Knock. There's always drama.
Maybe there is no drama.
There's more drama there than it is on a high school girls cheerleading team.
Maybe there is no drama.
There's so much drama in the lock. There's always drama, Ashley. Always. But I'm going to be tuned in. I'm going to watch Ashley. Just because I know that there's some big personality. Sauce Gardner. Aaron Rodgers, those two alone can carry this whole season.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Aaron Rodgers. I mean, hopefully there's not too much editing on him. I would like to see him in the most authentic way possible, especially because of how, he left Green Bay and how his last season in Green Bay went, and, how him getting to New Jersey, sorry. How him getting to the Jets happens. I'm interested to see him in an authentic space. I want to see how he interacts with his young core, with his new team. One of the strikes against him was he seemed very aloof and very disconnected from his teammates his last year in Green Bay. And a lot of people, accredited that to not wanting to be there. And that was one of the reasons why that core didn't gel together. And there was lack of chemistry because he didn't really take the time to do that. He didn't show up, to OTAs? He didn't show up on
No,
minicamp.
off season, he wasn't bringing his guys together.
He wasn't bringing his guys together.
Young guys.
So I would like to see him in a light that paints a new picture of him turning over the new leaf. I mean, he restructured his deal to give them a lot more money to go ahead and fill in the gaps whichever way they need to. And I would like that to be highlighted, as well as like his quirkiness and maybe his like weird habits and things like that. But definitely being able to see Aaron Rodgers as a leader, as a quarterback, and as a leader and a quarterback differ from the stories that we've recently heard about him. I'd like to see that highlighted.
And Ashley, it seems like he's been leaning into everything that you just said, right? Like being a better teammate, bringing the young guys along. That was a big conversation in Green Bay. Like, why aren't you doing this? Everybody else is. And then also like the personality side, like, you know,
the chain. Did you see the chain that he got? I don't think he's ever going to wear that.
So I think you're going to get what you want. I really do. I think Aaron Rodgers is embracing this whole New York media, the whole scene. Remember, he's at the Garden
with his Sauce and a bunch of his young guys,
doing all of that stuff. Like I think you're going to get that. I really do, and I'm excited.
I'm watching. I'm definitely watching this.
Yep. Well, guys, our guest has joined the show.
Super guest.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Big
sir.
deal.
Yes, sir. So as I mentioned at the top of the show, this gentleman that we're going to introduce to you spent 17 years as the head physician for the San Diego Chargers. He's also SiriusXM's sports medical analyst and the official FanDuel injury expert. Who I'm referring to is Dr. David Chao. Dr. Chao, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. And let me just start by saying, Brandon, I much prefer seeing you in this venue than for the years that you tortured the poor San Diego Chargers. I don't know how many different quarterbacks you had during that period of time, but it seemed like every time there was a different quarterback, and every time you were gashing us for a bunch of things.
Four, Doc. And but here's the deal. We got to be honest. I appreciate that. We got to exchange pleasantries, right? So I get that. But my record against the San Diego Chargers is probably like 8-2, 2-8, right? Okay. So you guys always got the win. You know, Phillip Rivers was lights out. You know, then you had lights out, you know, and Sean Merriman, Sean Phillips, LT broke the record on us, Ashley. Like most rushing touchdowns in a year, I believe. It was unbelievable. So, Doc, we appreciate you. You know, Lonnie put this together. Lonnie's one of my teammates for the Denver Broncos, Super Bowl champion, Tom Brady's best friends. He's always with Tom Brady. He said, we got to do this. He said, I've been watching I Am Athlete, big fan of I Am Athlete, big fan of Paper Route, love what you and Ashley and Corey is doing, but let's get a little bit more credibility here. So I said, this makes sense. We're in the dog days of camp. There's a lot of guys going down. And our audience deserves, Doc, an explanation around what's happening. Our audience deserves to hear from a professional like you, 17 years in the National Football League, dealing with all the drama and the trauma for years. They deserve to hear from you on what's happening with Jalen Ramsey, what's happening with Tua. So we're trying not to be like them, but we're still a little bit from them, Ashley, right? Like we, you know, a little credibility.
Just a tad.
Little tad. All right.
Well, hey, Dr. Chao, I kind of want to start there. He had mentioned some names, and let me give you a disclaimer first. So I'm a huge Dolphins fan, so hopefully you'll have nothing but good things to say here. But Jalen Ramsey, really want to figure out, you know, what's the latest with him. We know I think it was July 28th, he had a meniscus tear. And, you know, on social media, we've seen videos of him walking around with his brace, but the latest was we saw him walking on the field, you know, with no brace. So can you speak about what maybe the timetable might look like for a guy like Jalen Ramsey, considering the progress that we're seeing so far, and just really what he's dealing with that meniscus tear?
Absolutely. And let me just start off by saying what I deal in is insider knowledge from being in the NFL for 17 years, not insider information, right? The SEC will put you in jail for inside information. As a doctor, HIPAA violations. This is not inside information. This is not my calling the Dolphins doctors or athletic training staff who I know and then relaying this. This is analysis from afar based on insider knowledge of the game and meniscus tears. And the problem here is that the good news is he had a meniscus repair, which means it was sewn. But then the bad news with that, that means that it's a bigger tear and it needed to be sewn, and now you need healing time. And let me tell you, this is a very hard thing to return to play from. Look, everyone talks about Adrian Peterson and getting 2,000 yards 9 months after his ACL, and he's superhuman. But in 2016, he tore his meniscus week 2 of the season, had it repaired, made it back week 15 for 6 carries carries, 22 yards, and did not play week 16, 17 that year. And that's the guy we all say has the quickest knee recoveries ever.
Wow.
This is hard. This is hard for a DB to return to play from. I unfortunately don't make a lot out of seeing him walk without a brace. First of all, if you go by the book, and I've seen the Twitter stuff where people said, oh, it's great news, he's walking. If you go by the textbook and you go by the boards and the standard conservative answer that's taught in medical schools and residencies, yes, it's still non-weight bearing crutches and a brace. But if you talk to any seasoned pro sports team doctor, that is advanced to weight bearing as tolerated in certain range of motions. So that doesn't necessarily speed up the timeline. I think it's a tall order for Jalen Ramsey to come back and be Jalen Ramsey.
Wow.
I'm quite sure he'll come back. But look, no offense to Brandon here. It's easier to return as a wide receiver than it is a DB because you're dictating your routes.
Right.
A DB has to react to the routes.
That's right.
It much hard, it's still hard for a wide receiver to come back from, let's say, an ACL, but much harder for a DB to do so, right? Because of what they have to do. So I'm not overly optimistic, unfortunately, on Jalen Ramsey.
So Doc, you said something interesting there, and it's a shocker to me, right? Because, we've seen a lot of guys go in and get scopes, and they're back in in 10 days, 2 weeks, right? So obviously, when you go under the ninth, it's a different process. And so you hear Jalen Ramsey, he went to his coach McDaniel, and he's like, yo, what's the timetable? So I know how to beat it, right? So for you to come out and say and break it down the way you did and describe, using Adrian Peterson as the case study is really a big deal, right? Because we are all expecting Jalen Ramsey to come back in end of November, December, or potentially even beat that, right? Because we see a lot of athletes, come back before they should. They say 8 weeks, 12 weeks, I'm back in 7. We've seen this time and time again. So for you to come out and say that you're not confident, it seemed like you're not confident that he'll be there come December.
Yeah, and it's not a knock on Jalen Ramsey at all. It's just what the injury is. You cannot compare him to Kadarius Toney, who apparently have a meniscus trim and may be there for week 1 for the Chiefs. It's no comparison. It's the difference between when you trim your meniscus, it's like mowing the lawn. You can go play football on the grass immediately. When you do a meniscus repair, it's laying down new sod or growing new grass. You have to keep off the grass. And as great, look, no one respects professional athletes more than I do because I've seen it. I've seen all hard work. And people have no idea how hard it is to recover and return. I mean, all the time on video, for example, Breece Hall, oh, look, he's running. He hit 23 miles an hour. He's doing great. No, he's not. He's still limping. But what about, yeah, he hits high end speed, but what about deceleration and cutting? I have so much respect for professional athletes. But here's the one thing I have to say. Very difficult to speed up biology. And that's what we're talking about here. It's one thing to cut down on rehab time after you're cleared to do certain activities. And as a professional athlete, they do that all the time. But there are some medical time limits for biology, and it's minimum 3 months for meniscus healing. And then even if you pass that hurdle, now you got to get back into what you do. It's just a high bar is all. I'm not trying to doubt Rams.
Well, Doc, I have a question for you. You mentioned biology, and it's interesting because I feel like every single football season, we are seeing more and more injuries, and we're seeing them in younger and healthier guys. And some injuries are not that severe, and some are major injuries keeping them out for months. And you would think as science and advancements in nutrition and workout routines continue to develop, that we would start seeing less of these major, just season-costing injuries. But that seems almost to be the opposite effect. Why is that?
Well, a couple of different theories, right? You have to take each injury individually in terms of what it is. But the first thing I would say is football is not a contact sport. Football is a collision sport. Basketball is a contact sport. Football is a collision sport. But then, of course, in the preseason, it's well known that 50% of teams lose a significant player or a starter before week 1 of the season. And you say, well, gee, why is that? Well, let's just talk about the dreaded A's, right? The ACL tear. or the Achilles. And there's been a couple of those already this season. Not to mention the acclimation injuries of hamstring, groin, and this, that, the other. But the dreaded A's, ACL and Achilles, that we all know need surgery, it ends your season. Here's the problem. As people and players are bigger, faster, stronger, your Achilles tendon and your ACL isn't any bigger or stronger. The average athlete's ACL and Achilles is not much different than mine, yet they're much bigger, faster, stronger than me. Imagine driving a more powerful car on the same suspension. And that's part of the problem of some of these injuries. It's just the way how good athletes are today. They've stressed their bodies to the limit.
So, Doc, I have a question. On that note of ACLs, right? You know, studies are showing that the ACL injuries, we've seen more and more over the last 3 years. And what comes up a lot is the surfaces that, you know, a lot of these stadiums have and players' concerns for basically it's like even if I'm not mistaken. So how do you feel about that? Do you think the NFL should mandate all turf fields or all grass fields, and do you feel that might have contributed to the increase of ACL injuries?
Well, you're right. Half the stadiums are turf and half are grass right now, essentially, right? There's, I guess, 30 stadiums because 2 teams play in the same stadium, et cetera. But basically, it's half and half. And look, let me answer this question. It's a difficult multifactorial answer. If your question is it safer on grass / more dangerous on turf? The answer is yes. And the data's been out there for 2 decades. The NFL knows it. No question. There's no question that the current sport grass is much better than the old school AstroTurf. And I'll bet Brandon's never even played on old school.
Yes, I did. Rice. I played at Rice, West Virginia. I'm old, Doc. I was in college 2002. Hated it.
As a doctor standing on the sidelines, my back was more sore after an AstroTurf.
We were playing on concrete. We were literally playing on concrete. Now, Corey, he played wide receiver. Corey, you never played on no AstroTurf.
I haven't.
Well, there's no question that the current different machinations and models and types of grass are way better than the old AstroTurf. So let's give credit where credit is due. But it's still not as good as, let's say, natural grass per se. Now you'd say, so you're saying you should definitely mandate it, but you got to understand, not all natural grass inside domed and other stadiums are good. Remember down in Houston, there were a couple of ACL tears blamed on the grass with the pallet being moved in and the seams. So it's not absolute.
They got too cute, Doc.
Way too cute.
They got too cute. They got this little retractor thingy that pushes the turf out so you get sunlight. Then they put it in. They do the same thing at AZ. These billionaires, they get just too cute with this stuff, Doc.
No, I get you. And part of it is also they build stadiums now more vertical, so the sunlight can't get in. So you got to get the sliding. I get it. Allegiant has it. And in a perfect world, I think it would be better. But the other thing that could be done, if you look, what you want is you as an athlete want your shoe surface interface to be really firm. In other words, you want to be able to cut on a dime. This is why an expert skier, an Olympic racing skier, cranks their ski binding so tight their ski cannot come off because they want all that high tolerance and to be able to cut and so forth. Me as a skier, I want it loose because I want to save my knees if something happens.
Right.
But if you wore slippery shoes, which you don't want to wear, that would be safer. Look, it's well known in the rain, it's a much safer game, because it's slippery, more slippery. But then you don't get the greatest show on turf and the great athletes. So it's a shoe surface interface issue. Grass has some give. That's why it is safer by about one major knee injury a season.
So, Doc, this is what I want to say as a player, right? Great question, Corey. We don't want to play on turf, all right? For those reasons, like you said, the numbers, the data's been there. We know that. Also, the recovery is longer. A lot of people don't understand. You kind of got to it a little bit. AstroTurf, standing on the sideline, even just standing there, it hurts the body, like everything. Every joint it just sucks playing on it. So when you practice on this turf, you play on this turf, now your recovery time goes from a day and a half if you're younger, 2 days, to hell, it might be 3-4 days. It might not be to the next Sunday for most veteran guys. Like, it just sucks practicing on it. It sucks playing on it. The body just feels it right away. So like we don't want AstroTurf. I mean, we don't want any turf. Excuse me. But it also shows this. It also shows this. They don't care, right? They know this. Why we talk about player safety all the time. Why wouldn't they change this, right? If we're the biggest commodity, we're the biggest investment, their asset. Well, their biggest asset is not necessarily the guys on the field. Their biggest asset is the pipeline of guys. Oh, this guy goes down, I can put another one in there. You see this with how they negotiate with guys. So it shows, some owners' priorities.
No, I hear you there, but a couple of things I'll say about that. I was always amazed how, look, the average fan, you go look at a game that's played on artificial grass, and a lot of the players have all this white tape on their arms, right? And there's exposed body parts. Because guess what? I can't imagine just sliding on that and skinning my elbow or my knee. That hurts, right? I mean, the fact those are small things. They're not permanent injuries, but there's no question there's a difference. And you're probably right about bargaining. My understanding, and I'm not in the bargaining rooms, is that, yes, all grass fields might have been on the table as part of the CBA, but it was a bargaining chip as opposed to we're just going to do it, right? And so your point probably is valid there. I don't speak for the owners. Owners might come back and say, well, we want our stadiums to be multi-purpose, and we can't have a high school football game there if it's grass because it chews up the grass. And we want to have all these other things in concerts so that we need the turf. That's a financial argument. It's a different argument. If you're being a purist, I would agree with you. Grass is always, quote, safer. Not perfect. Doesn't prevent all injuries. But look, who knows? The one that you had in New York might have been prevented if it was on grass, your deltoid.
That's right. And we can get to that later. Like in one game, all three of us went down starting receivers, myself, Odell, and Sterling Shepard on ankles, right? Ended my career pretty much. There's another big name out there, right? We don't have you for only a few more minutes. Joe Burrow. Talk to us about Joe Burrow. This is a big deal. We're talking about a guy that's probably going to reset the quarterback market. This is a contender. They can easily see themselves in the Super Bowl this year. Talk to us about Smoking Joe.
Well, here's the thing. What I do is I look at video, right? And so for 17 years, I saw a player on the field, on the sideline, in the locker room the next day after an MRI. And I usually had about half an hour to kill before meeting with the GM after the Monday injury checks. And since everyone in an NFL building is looking at film, coaches to players and whatever, I decided why not? So I would look at film. So there, I knew the answer to the question. I knew exactly what my player had, but then I'd look at the question, which was the injury video. Now I'm not in the room. I don't know the answer to the question, but I do get the question in video. And so even in training camp nowadays, there's lots of good cell phone video. And by cell phone video, we said it was a right calf strain for Joe Burrow before Zach Taylor even came out and said it. And we've been projecting that there's no question that Joe will be ready he'll be out for a couple of weeks at least here, but there's no question that he'll be ready for week one. The question is, how mobile will he be? How much will he be able to plant and throw deep off that back right foot, right calf, and in terms of his accuracy? But do certainly believe he's going to be out for several weeks. But look, the good news there is that Joe's not really had a training camp basically ever. There was a contractual issue coming off an ACL, appendicitis last year, and now the calf, and he's always done very well. And maybe the silver lining here is this helps get a long-term deal done for Joe. Take the security. When you're talking about $275 million, what's another $5 million here or there?
Right.
Maybe this is something that will get them across the finish line and get him signed to a long-term deal. He's going to set the record. He's going to beat Justin Herbert. At that point, you're talking couch cushion money. For me, it's huge money. But when you're looking at 275, what's really the difference, right?
Right. 100%.
Yes, sir. So we were talking about this player earlier, but I want to talk about his teammate and who we were talking about Jalen Ramsey earlier, but I want to talk about Tua Tagovailoa, right? So he was a guy, last year he was diagnosed with 2 concussions. Everybody, the thought was that he actually suffered maybe even 3 concussions. I want to know how you feel, about him being able to hold up throughout this whole season, of course, and just how you feel towards the concussions that he suffered last year.
That's a big deal.
Well,
this is a big conversation right here. This is the difference between them being 500, or I don't know if you can be 517 games anymore, but having a winning record, a losing record, or finding himself in the Super Bowl.
There's many levels to this discussion, and the one that I always want to start with is it's not concussions that per se that I'm worried about. It's brain damage / CTE that I'm worried about, and I don't mean to bring up bad topics, but Brandon, you've got very personal. Look, I'm very personal with a handful of players. We don't need to name drop or whatever with CTE, et cetera. And, that's a whole other topic for another time. But from a perspective of football, whether it's 2 or 3 concussions, any one concussion is potentially dangerous. I'm glad we're in the health and safety era where in general we're paying more attention to it. But from a football Dolphins fan perspective, here's my worry. As much as Tua will train in martial arts and how to fall and not hit his head, when it's game and game speed, I think it's very difficult to replicate and remember to do that in the different situations. It's not bad to learn, but think of it this way. We'll talk about a Denver Bronco and Jets quarterback. And I'm not banging him, but did Tim Tebow ever change his throwing motion? He can train all he wants, but get into a game, his throwing motion remains the same.
Right, you go right back to it.
In San Diego, we tried to change his throwing motion, but there was no point to it. He was throwing fine, right? And so my point is, you can learn and practice all you want, but in the speed of the game and what happens, can you really do that? And I think that's very difficult to do for Tua, although I'm glad he's trying. And the other thing that we do at Sports Injury Central, SIC,
there we go.
We put out these 6 scores. Right now, season 6 scores. We have Tua a little bit lower because of his head.
Well, Doc, I don't know if you can hear me, but one of the things you guys don't do at Pro Football Doc.
Whether it's
can you hear us? Your internet's going in and out, Doc.
This is a 1-week concussion. Look, Steelers.
There you go. You're back. You hear me, Doc? You got to give us this last point because your internet was going in and out, and you're talking about all the things you guys do there. What you guys don't do a great job of is having great internet. Your internet's a little choppy there, Doc. I'm just.
Look, I'll take the blame for this. Like this is my office. Normally Mondays at 10, which we originally scheduled. I'm in a studio with super high power internet and graphics and the whole thing. This is just one of my offices with average doctor office internet. So I apologize for that. And look, if you ever have me on again, I'll make sure I'm in studio and not embarrass you with the internet issues. I apologize.
No,
for
you're
that.
good.
This is the vanilla background. It's all because
no, you're good, Doc. It's an honor to have you. But we got to let you go here soon. But your last point, you were saying, some of the things that you guys do there.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it's very hard to learn how to fall. It's very hard to change your throwing motion. If you're a quarterback, it's very hard to learn how to fall. I hope he can do it. But if he does fall, this is why at Sports Injury Central, SICScore.com, we have his 6-4 for the season a little bit lower. If he does get another concussion, I don't see how he can get put back in the next week.
Right.
It's going to be multi-weeks, right? So because of his history. So that means availability. What's his availability? If he gets a concussion, we all hope he doesn't. I don't see how he plays next week or misses just 1 week. It's likely multiple weeks, right? And that certainly can affect the team in a season.
That's right. Well, Doc, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on. This was awesome. I need to listen to Lonnie more. And throughout the year, we'll be happy to have you back giving us some of these key updates. Like, we want to know, like, this is impacting the way we're looking at our teams and cheering, right? And in fantasy, betting, all those things. But most importantly, we just want all of our guys to be happy, safe, and it's impossible, right? Like you said, it's a collision sport. So we really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Doc.
Doc.
Next time I promise to have the good internet.
All right, there you go. You're good. It was only 1 minute. All right, Doc.
All right, thank you, buddy.
Wow,
appreciate you.
So Corey, that was great.
It was.
I'm glad that you brought him on. Felt a little different, different vibe to the show, but it's important, man. Guys go down all the time, and just like I said, whether you just watch ball or if you're big into fantasy or betting, like these things matter, right? There's a lot of business around the NFL, so I was happy to have him. and I can see him participating in the future.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's get back to the rundown, huh? So what I wanted to talk about, guys, which is, I don't know if you guys were familiar with this story, but it was one that kind of developed last year. But I'm talking about Bishop Sycamore. That is the fake high school that got an opportunity to play IMG Academy on live television. HBO released the trailer. Let's take a look at it real quick, and we'll react to it when we come back.
IMG to kick off to Bishop Sycamore.
Do you want my hands like this, like that?
Just be natural. You don't have to try.
Coach Roy Johnson told us they had a number of Division I prospects.
Too high, tip, intercepted. Thanks to the pick six. Into the end zone. He'll waltz in, and that will do it.
Do I look like a con artist?
How this happens got a lot of people scratching their head. Bishop Sycamore is not even a real high school.
They did not have teachers.
We really was pretty much on our own.
We didn't have any trainers. People were sharing helmets.
It was disgusting. I was literally sick to my stomach.
I can't believe this happened again.
My philosophy in business is do what the people who have the money do, even if you don't have the money.
Roy will tell you he's a liar.
He knew what to say, how to say it.
He's like, oh man, you gotta let that go. I said, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna let go of his neck after I grab it.
I think I'm the most honest liar that I know.
How can you coach kids and you know it's not a school?
Roy would tell people, you're gonna be playing in Alabama.
He was just selling me a dream.
Ohio was embarrassed by this. They called the thing explicitly a scam. And then said they couldn't do a damn thing about it.
Bishop Sycamore does not happen if there wasn't an abundance of money in high school sports.
Let's go! Did I break a law? Is it illegal? Am I in jail? We're on ESPN. Win, lose, or draw, we win.
This is not what we were supposed to create.
How do I tell my mama that coach wants me to do the same stuff that you try to get me away from?
You say you care about it, but did you really?
Can we take a break? That's some bullshit.
1, 2, 3, all right!
Not enough trainers, not enough helmets, right? Not an actual school. Like, this whole situation was crazy. When I first learned of it, I was just like, yo, if they ever do a documentary, I'm tuning in. And it's actually going to release August 23rd. Y'all watching this?
Oh, am I allowed to talk now?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. I wasn't sure.
Wow.
I wasn't sure if I had
that's what
permission
we're
to
doing.
speak yet. But
speak up and talk. You want to do that live? You want to do that live?
I'm just saying.
When we're interviewing somebody.
Sure.
We talked about. No. That's not professional.
That's
not professional.
I was making sure I was clear to speak.
Ashley, let's keep it professional.
I was just making sure I was clear to speak.
Let's keep it professional. That wasn't professional.
I was just making sure. I didn't know if you wanted me to do it or Corey to do it or whatever the case may be. I was making sure. I was just making sure.
I mean, we excited to watch.
Oh, okay.
Let's go to a 2-box. Me and Corey, come on.
Okay, you guys go ahead.
That's not professional at all.
I just wasn't sure. I didn't know if you were signaling me to talk or whatever.
You went to school for this. You know you're supposed to jump in any time. Like, what are you talking about?
Listen, I actually covered this story when I was at Sports Illustrated, so I'm very excited to watch this documentary. It was an unfortunate situation, though, for the kids involved, because if you actually dive into it, and what's his name? Bomani Jones was one of the people who actually dived into the story for ESPN. But I think that if you actually dived into it, those kids didn't know any different.
Right.
Like, I don't think people realize, like, the coaches and the training staff and the water boys and all that stuff, like, the people who were actually employed knew exactly what was happening and knew it wasn't a real program and knew, like, they were cutting corners and things like that. But the students, like the athletes, had no idea. They were very much under the impression this was a legitimate program, this was a legitimate situation. And I think that it's unfortunate because a lot of them lost out on opportunities to play elsewhere or to play in programs that were going to go ahead and take them to the next level professionally, if that was something that they were going to be able to have the skill set to do. So when you actually dive into it, it's a lot worse than what that documentary showcased. It's not a good situation.
I'm excited.
I honestly think that guy should, like, I don't know if he committed a crime per se. Like, he's right. He said he didn't commit a crime. He's absolutely right. He did not. But I just feel like there should be some sort of a repercussion for bringing kids to a program that's non-existent. Like,
my thing is the wasted time for the kids.
That's my point. Like, how is there no like repercussion for that? If you like
that should be the actual like what would you say, the crime, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there should be a crime for that, right? Like you're almost
it's
like,
not illegal though.
It's not illegal to like produce or like sell a fake school. I feel like that should be illegal. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll learn
Corey,
more of the
you're
details.
so close to recently being out of that situation, college, trying to make it to the NFL. Like, what would you say? Like, you're like, for this day one, you just found out this information.
Well, you got to
What is your
think about
reaction
it.
to that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about it. Like, what if you a senior and you're actually trying to find a school, and then this happens? I mean, you can't really scramble. I don't know how it was, for any of these athletes who might have been seniors. Like, did they scramble once they had found out like the season was over and go to another school to complete the season? I don't know.
So for me, watching that clip, I wasn't close to it like Ashley was. She said she followed it. I didn't follow it. It wasn't that interesting to me back then. But watching this clip and this, this promo of this documentary, I still don't think I'm gonna watch it. But I will say this: what came up for me was the safety of the players. Right, I have two nephews still playing ball, and I have two sons that seem to be really taking a liking to football, which I don't like. Right, my nephew last year, the one that's going to college, Armani Marshall, he sustained a big hit and concussion, blood coming out of his mouth. I ran on the field, and that feeling that I felt, right? Like, and I've been in this position as uncle, provider, / type dad, little role, like whatever. I've been in that position. So I'm not running out there as just like an uncle or a fan. Like, I'm running out there like, yo, this is my baby.
It's your kid.
Right? And so when you think about that, it makes me really angry, right? We're talking about, grown men playing against high school athletes. They're still developing in a lot of areas, right? You talking about even from speed, like guys are still getting faster. So you bring in these older dudes that might be running faster, which makes the collision even more impactful. What Doc said, this isn't a contact sport, this is a collision sport. That's a big deal. We're talking about offensive linemen, defensive linemen, like the strength there. It's not only fair, but it should be a crime. And so for this dude to come out and be prancing around like everything's sweet, it makes me even that much more pissed off.
So just to clarify, Bishop Sycamore was a school. The program was fake. So it's saying here that the Bishop Sycamore Centurions were an American football team based in Columbus, Ohio. They purported to be a high school football team of the Bishop Sycamore High School. Mm-hmm. Now, it's saying that the name of the school might have been manipulated, but at one point it was a school. It was the program that was non-existent. So one of the former players, Aaron Boyd, stated in an interview with Complex that athletes were recruited under the premise of the school being the IMG of the Midwest. However, many of the student athletes were older than high school age, and there was no real campus. So they couldn't bring the football team to the actual campus of the school that they were saying that they were a program of, because
the program wasn't real.
The program wasn't real. The school, I believe, existed. At least that's when I dove into it. That's how it was, whatever. Yeah. Instead, athletes were housed in a hotel for 5 months with the only schooling being one visit to a public library. The school also struggled to maintain coaches, as 80% of the coaching staff quit during the season, and the team was left with 2 coaches and 1 mother of a player. The players were also not provided with food, and some players resorted to stealing from supermarkets to eat. So one of the things that I was able to interview one of the players, former players, My only confusion is once you're in it and you see all that's transpiring, doesn't a flag go off in your head and say, this doesn't seem like a school. Like, this doesn't seem real. Like, I can understand maybe the coach comes, sits on your couch and like sells you the dreams and the stories or whatever, and you're so excited to play high school football and you think this is your chance to go to college or to go pro. But once you sit down and once you're in it, and like the first week and the second week, and you don't have food, you don't have coaches, you're living in a hotel.
Yeah.
Like your coaching staff is dwindling down.
A lot of red flags.
Like where's the red? Like that was the only
because
thing.
they were in on it because those players were in on it. These are guys that were going back.
How was no way? No way.
Well, they were adults.
If they're adults and they know they're doing something illegal or you know what I'm saying, not fair. Of course they were in on it. They know they're not supposed to be in high school.
Well, I do feel bad for the ones that were actually
right about that.
But what about the actual high school level kids? Like they weren't in on it.
It was
like what was the goal? To hurt kids?
No, the goal was
what was the goal here? You're grown men who didn't make it to the league. Then you have the coaches who aren't connected to the school. Like, what was the goal?
It was money.
You know what they always say: if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right? So, like in sports, look at Bill Belichick. You know, probably the greatest coach of all time, definitely in football. And this dude had Spygate, Deflategate, all these things going
a lot
on.
Of stuff.
Yeah. Right. So, like, this is just like on a whole nother level, right? Because you're dealing with player safety. That's a big deal. You know, we track this stuff all the time where, you know, guys running 22 miles per hour. We just had it, the Hyatt kid, 24 miles per hour. That hurts. Those are real collisions. Those are real, like, car crashes. Yeah. It's a big deal.
Well, I think the other not red flag is concern is how did they get on ESPN? I think that was it's impressive, but it's impressive, but also concerning because, I mean, Brandon could speak to this more than I can because I don't watch high school football, but I would assume that there's a due diligence when you put a high school game on ESPN. It's not like every high school in America gets a national game. So I would assume that scouts go to those games. I would assume that producers who are covering high school football are required or employed to produce high school football premier games. I think it's Friday Night Lights or whatever the case may be. Like they go to those schools and like they see like what the production would look like. How did they even vet that to get them a national ESPN game and then they won the game?
Who unbelievable? Not Bishop.
No, didn't they win? They win?
They got blown out by
okay.
IMG.
Oh, right. They did get blown out.
Like
but like, how does ESPN say, oh yeah, we're gonna put like this team on TV? Like, how does that work?
It's crazy. This is Paper Route, Faction Talk, Channel 103, Sirius XM. Ashley, Nicole, Moss, Brandon Marshall, Woo in the West, BC in the booth, Corey in the cut. It's been a phenomenal day. We still got 5 minutes left, right? You know, we talk about start fast, finish strong.
Absolutely.
But it's a great discussion. I'm not tuning in, Corey. You guys can give me the updates, right? Like, and I'll continue to give you guys the updates on Quarterback, on Netflix, and so many other shows. And people in our chat need to jump in here. What other shows can we watch? I'm kind of like off here. Like, I don't know what's on Netflix, what's on HBO Max, anything good?
Trying to get experimental.
They Called Tyrone was pretty good.
I saw that.
What was that movie about?
I haven't seen it yet.
You say Call Tyrone?
They clone. Sorry, I keep saying Call.
They clone.
That's the Badu
Call
song.
on Tyrone. Yeah. Right.
They cloned Tyrone.
And then she made a remake, which I thought was dope. At the end of the
Erykah Badu made a remix.
It definitely had to be her, but it's her singing the Tyrone song, but saying they cloned Tyrone. So like, I love how they mixed it up. They nailed that in. Yeah, you got to just listen through to the end.
And if I'm not mistaken, Jamie Foxx is on it, right?
Jamie Foxx is in it.
He's playing a pimp named Slick Rick. Slick Charles.
I didn't watch the film, but I did hear that if the premise of it's like deeper than what it presents itself, that it's an interesting film, that it showcases in like a comedic kind of way how the media has made Black people believe that they need to live and exist a certain type of way.
Yep.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Through the stereotypes.
Through stereotypes. I didn't see it, so I can't speak to it, but that's definitely different than how I anticipated it to be. So, somebody says the movie was not good.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Which movie?
They Cloned Tyrone.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
I think it depends on the angle you're looking at it from.
Yeah.
Was this set back in the day? From what I've seen, it looked like
it looked like the
70s. Yeah, was it?
It's hard to say because they had cell phones.
What?
Yeah, remember they had flip cell phones.
Well, I didn't see it, so I don't know if
I don't know. I didn't see it.
And he had on
so.
LeBrons.
What?
Who had LeBron?
Yeah, they definitely looked like they had.
No,
like
the trailer looks like the 70s.
It looks like it, but he had on LeBrons in the movie.
That's interesting, LeBrons. What's another one?
Are you sure it wasn't like a Back to the Future type thing?
Nothing like that.
Somebody just said here. I guess we can lean into it. Someone just jumped in here and said, "I want to see more of the B. Marsh and Ashley show." Well, shit, just keep coming back Monday through Thursday.
Yeah, right? That's what it is.
Right.
That's all you got to do.
What else you want? Shit happens.
Well,
It
not
happens all the
Fridays.
time.
We're not on Fridays.
We're not on Fridays, but we might need to add a day. We might add a day, but no, we're here. So King, what's his name? King something. King Cook. King Cook is somebody who comes back often.
Yep.
Yeah.
Has anyone found Ghost? I haven't
Ghost
seen
St. Patrick?
He's dead.
He's not. Oh my God, he's not dead.
Don't say that.
He's alive.
No, oh, you mean on the show? I thought you were talking about the other show.
No,
Sorry.
on our
Ghost.
chat.
Oh, no. We ain't putting that out there. I thought you was talking about Power since we were on show.
No, in our chat. In our chat.
Insider information.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we need a wellness check. We need a
Well,
wellness check on me and Ashley. We need a wellness check on
Ghost was
St.
in the
Patrick.
chat yesterday.
Oh, he was.
Yes, he was in the
All
chat
right,
yesterday. He
shout
was
out
the
Ghost,
one
he came
saying,
back.
I don't remember what he said, but he's not dead. He's very much alive. Brandon was referring to Ghost St. Patrick, meaning Omari Hardwick, who they say is not actually dead, but that you guys didn't hear that from me.
That's crazy.
I'm overpowered now.
You said you were?
You guys,
I'm overpowered.
Do you watch any of the new renditions?
I think I watched
Absolutely
half of the first season of Power.
I never watched
Like Tommy, what's the other one? Kane.
Son of Kane.
No, I've never watched any.
Power Book 2.
What's that, BC?
I said Tommy's one is Force.
Why do people saying that I'm spoiling? What did I spoil? No, Ghost is dead.
But people haven't finished Power yet.
That's on them if they ain't. Jeez.
That last season was like 4 years ago.
So what's the? No, hold on. Time out.
They're like, damn, you ruined the series for them.
No, we got. I like rules. I like to understand where everybody's at. We're on the same playing ground. Something's in my ear getting
That's
echo. BC, you gotta turn it off. All right.
Yeah.
So you watch a series come out, show comes out. When can we actually start talking about it publicly? Because we're talking about what, 3-4 years later, we still can't talk about.
What do you think an appropriate time frame is?
You tell me. I think it's.
Are we talking season or series?
I feel like you can start talking publicly after the season ends.
After the season ends, like what, the day it ends?
Oh, no,
so boom. What's about to come back
2
out?
weeks.
2 weeks
after the final.
I can't wait 3 years to say Ghost St. Patrick is dead.
Let me give you an example. You just started watching Succession.
I did.
Okay, that series ended a month and a half ago. Now, would I be wrong if I go ahead and let you know how it ends right here?
No, you know why? You know why? Because this is what I do. I know that there, spoiler alerts and this stuff can happen. So I run away from that conversation. Oh, y'all talk. Shut my ears. So like, if it happens, it does spoil.
How are they gonna shut their ears? They didn't know you were about to say it.
Yeah.
We don't want the viewership to drop.
But I feel like, come on, 3 years out. That's
3 years
Has
is wild.
it been 3 years?
Yeah, since
No way.
I feel like
Power?
it has.
It hasn't been that long.
The last like series of Power.
The original Power at 3 years?
Watch this, isn't it?
That sounds about right though. Season 1. I was in college.
No, since the season finale, not since the season started.
Yeah, I got February 2020.
3 years?
No, it ain't been that. No, it's longer. The Power, was it February 22 when they killed off Ghost? I'm leaning it more.
Oh my God.
I'm leaning it more.
Killing it.
I'm leaning it more.
He did it again. Cover your ears. Rip that from the record. Oh my God. Well, they didn't. We don't know if they killed Ghost. I'll go ahead and put that out. We cannot confirm nor deny that. Brandon's assuming based on how the series ended. But full disclaimer, we don't know for certain if that's the case. So we'll just leave it there so that the people.
Somebody said it's been 7 years. It might be 4 years now. It's a long.
Nah, it's definitely February 2020. The last episode played.
2020.
Oh
no.
That's Tyreek. It might be longer than that.
Damn. Okay, then I mean, okay.
That's what I thought. Like I'm thinking like 2018 almost, like 2017. Even.
Brandon does have a point. If you are somebody who starts the series a little bit later, okay, a lot later.
That's right.
Then you can't be mad if people go ahead and discuss the series in an open format because it is now multiple years since it started.
I don't know, man. They saying Ghost a pack.
Can we do this? We got to go, right? We're out of time.
Yeah, we got to go.
Yeah. So we got to go. We're out of town. We love you. But I want to do this. JP, take the clip of Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe getting into it and put it side by side with me and Ashley getting into it.
What, about Messi?
No, like earlier. Like, come on. Like,
I thought we were allowed to be authentic on this show. I thought we're allowed to throw jabs.
All right, guys, we gotta go.
Oh my goodness.
Why is it a problem? It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it.
She was really hot.
I wasn't hot.
You just talked about the rules of journalism, like jump
But
in
I
there.
wasn't hot. I made a joke. It was. I'm not mad. It's cool.
Well, I'm learning you did. That
it
was
happens.
Like, no. And
I got a question in. I got my question in. I mean, I was gonna ask a Tua question, but Corey beat me to the punch. But I was chilling.
Yeah.
She was hot. No, I see your body language the whole time.
Oh, no,
I'm sitting
no,
here
no.
reading it. Your
First
body
of all,
language.
I was chilling. What did you want me to do?
She put her head back one time like this. I'm like, yo.
Time out.
Just know we keep it real, y'all.
I can get text messages on my iPad, as you know, and that was not a reaction to that. That was something that privately that I'm trying not to deal with right now.
Who does Vetty the Don? Like, okay, you're on Ashley's side.
Who's Vetty the Don?
He talking so much trash about talking about Brandon pass the mic. Corey, we talk about this all the time. When you have a guest, you got to jump in there. Ashley, for some reason today, was being shy. Like, you got to jump in there and get your question off.
Did I not ask a question?
One question.
But Corey beat me to the Tua question. What did you want me to do? Ask the same question? That was my question.
Ashley from New York. Ashley knows what she doing.
I saw Corey's mouth opening.
You know what it is?
As I was going to ask my Tua question, the first thing that came out of his mouth was Tua. And I said, well, there's my question.
You know what it is, though? You know whose fault it is for real? And I'm always taking the heat on this stuff. It's always me, right? Because Brandon this, Brandon that. It was BC. Bro, put the 4 bucks up. When you know how Ashley is. Bro, you don't have a 3-shot and Ashley's not included.
He was not ready.
I'm the one. I'm the one that got to get the smoke.
BC got everyone in the chat thinking I took a bathroom break. I'm like, no, I'm sitting here, y'all. I'm right here. I swear.
No, BC, explain because I'm the one that's taking the heat, and now Ashley feeling some type of way. People in the chat feeling some type of way.
I'm not mad, but the whole chat's like, "Where's Ashley? Did she go to her bathroom break? Did she leave?" I'm like, in the chat, I'm like, "No, guys, I'm here."
I was letting the football guys get their shit off.
Whoa!
Now we got that.
Word, BC, that's how you feel.
Yo, that was crazy.
That's how you feel, BC.
BC threw us all under that bus.
They was talking, and then
So because I wasn't 6 feet with hands like a freaking mitt, I'm disqualified from the conversation.
All right, this is how we gonna end the show.
what I'm saying.
Go ahead,
They was
BC.
talking from an experience point of view.
I ain't with you on this one.
I was letting them get their shit off, but you could have cut in though too, though.
No, BC. No.
I wasn't even on the screen, my guy.
That's crazy. Do we not have a 4-box? Throw a 4-box up now. Do we have a 4-box?
No, we don't got one ready.
Hey, did y'all like my line though? I know we gotta go, but did y'all like my line when you was tripping, Ashley? For real, you was. I was like, go to the 2-box. Go to the 2-box.
I thought we were. Hold on, real quick before we close out the show. When I first started here, Brandon verbatim told me multiple times, nah, you too journalistic. Like, you gotta, like, you know, get a little gully. Like, this is I Am Athlete.
That's how
like,
he said it?
we throw da-da-da-da. Like, we throw jabs. You too polished and ESPN. This ain't ESPN. This is I Am Athlete. Da-da-da. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it, right?
That's crazy.
Right.
But I'm your teammate. I'm never gonna put you in a bad position.
But I wasn't even talking to you. I was talking to Corey.
No, you was looking at me.
I said to Corey, oh, can I talk now? And Corey said, yeah.
Come on,
you can talk now.
Yeah,
but
what
y'all
happened
know
was I brushed it off. I let it rot, and then B was like, "No, I ain't have."
I can't let that. Like, I got my feelings.
I let it rot. I'm like,
yo,
we could have just.
She gonna do that live right now?
We can't.
Like, are you serious?
Listen.
I like it though. It works. Okay, now we there. We there. We authentic now.
Now my smoke's with BC, so I'm gonna handle him tomorrow.
We worked all the way through
tomorrow, BC.
Yeah, BC, you put me in a bad position, bro. Come on, man. Listen, this is how we gonna end the show. Clutch BZ says this, and this is how we gonna make it right. Then
why is the chat thinks this is a hilarious conversation?
It is like because it's real. Because it's to your point, it is real and authentic. That really happened, but it happens to the best of them. You know, you look at Skip and Shannon. You look at Shannon Sharpe. Stephen A. Smith and Skip. Mm-hmm. Like you're a partner. We're here every day, and then you get these powerful takes. She believes in what she's saying with Messi. I believe what I'm saying at Messi, and that's what makes a really good show is when you're able to go there. You don't want to cross the line, but you want to be able to go there and people know that y'all still love each other. But it happens on TV all the time. So we'll get through it and we'll keep rocking. But this is how we gonna end it. Make it right. Clutch Beezy says, Ash single box for goodbye. So
no,
we gotta give her
I don't
No. Give it. There you go. In the show.
I don't want a
There you
single
go.
box.
Can't get away, Ash.
Oh my God. Well, listen, I know we didn't get to it today because we had the interview, but tomorrow, y'all gonna tune in because me and Brandon are gonna quiz Corey on all the things that he does not know. You do not want to miss tomorrow's show. It's Hump Day, and it's gonna be a good one.
Brandon.
Corey is about to get embarrassed. Corey, are you ready for tomorrow?
No, I'm ready. I think I'm gonna surprise some
Oh
people
my
too.
goodness. You a mess. You are a mess. You my pop. Hey, twin. Twin.
Messi twin.
Hey, twin. Bye. Peace. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You are.